Welcome to Game Domain, where today we are counting down the top 10 best-selling consoles of all time. Let's jump in and see which consoles might have had a place in your home. Number 10, the 3DS. Coming in at the number 10 spot is the Nintendo 3DS. One of the first consoles to have functional 3D built into a portable game system without the need for glasses was quite the claim, and one that Nintendo could in some ways back up. Changing the 3D to be inward versus the standard jumping out of the screen at you made it possible, but while possible, it still wasn't entirely practical. That aside, the 3DS had its stellar collection of games to fall back on. Everything from Fire Emblem to Mario to Animal Crossing, along with its multiple redesigns, helped this one to sell 65 million units worldwide. Number 9, the Game Boy Advance. Not to be outdone by its big brother, the Game Boy Advance comes in at the number 9 spot on our countdown today. The Game Boy Advance was the first console to offer not just improved graphics, going off of the 8-bit of the Game Boy to a whopping 32 bits, but it also offered, you guessed it, true color gaming. Such an amazing jump in technology was only furthered more by the inclusion of the heavy hitters of the Nintendo world. Mario, Wario, the Belmont family, Link and the rest of the crew all came out to show their support, and with other titles like the Advance Wars games and Final Fantasy, you finally had all your favorites in the palm of your hand. There were 81.5 million people that agreed this was the way to play. Number 8, the PSP. While a few years later than the previous entries on the list, it seems that extra time gave Sony a bit of an edge as they take the number 8 spot on the countdown with the PSP. If you thought that everything the DS did was cool, take all of that, put it on a slightly sharper 16:9 display, and you're really onto something. Add in a dash of Sony's library and then add the ability to watch TV, movies, and even stream from the PS3, and it's easy to see why the PSP had no problem selling out at launch and sold around 82 million units worldwide during its lifespan. Number 7, the PlayStation 3. Moving on to the number 7 spot on this list, we have the PlayStation 3 coming in and widening the margin with just shy of 83 million units sold. The first of the console line to bring us games on Blu-ray, and the ability to watch them on a single console, along with motion controls that didn't need any kind of special setup and were more subtle than others, made the PS3 a system to remember. Every year it seems that rather than reinventing the wheel, they've further refined their process to make sure that what they put out, while not earth-shattering in most ways, is a consistently good product, and that's not a bad thing. Number 6, the Xbox 360. With 84 million units sold, the Xbox 360 takes a seat at the number 6 spot on our countdown today. Offering a larger digital library than any system before it, coupled with the biggest and baddest online community offering on any home console, it's easy to see what made the Xbox 360 one of the big sellers of its time. The Xbox Live platform offered gamers a way to interact and engage with one another in ways that they never had done before, offering a full messaging system, chat system, and more matchmaking options than any other system could allow. Pair this with the ability to download and play any of the hot new releases along with your friends with just a press of a button, and it's just one of the ways that console gamers could catch up with the ways of the PC gamer, but for a fraction of the cost. Number 5, the Wii. Breaking the 100 million systems sold mark for the first time on this countdown at 101.63 million consoles is the Nintendo Wii, swinging into the number 5 spot. Bringing a new way to play with full motion controls, Nintendo once again led the way in innovation and bringing something new, fun, and engaging to the home consoles. They found a way to make games for fun and make them for more than just the hardcore gamers of the world. They made games for the family and it paid off for them. Add in the inclusion of the Shop channel, where you could pick up not only some of the new Wii titles, but also offering Nintendo classics as well. Wrap it all up in the charm that Nintendo has made a career out of, and you have the best-selling console of the 7th generation, unless you include the DS. Number 4, the PlayStation. With a cool 102.5 million units sold, is the original Sony PlayStation. The Sega Saturn was part of this generation, as was the Nintendo 64. Both of them had their target markets, and they had a very strong focus on their first-party development and production. Enter the PSX fitting right in between the older and younger market of the two systems, and bringing with it a huge amount of third-party software support. It wasn't long before it started to sweep across each of the age groups, with Crash Bandicoot picking up the younger crowd, Tekken picking up the older, and Final Fantasy VII picking up everyone. Number 3, the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Heading up to the top 3 on the list with a whopping 118.69 million systems sold, going back in time to the birth of handheld gaming, we have the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Nintendo was the first to bring gaming to the portable platform, at least in the console sense. Any other attempt at handheld gaming only allowed for one game and was very rudimentary, but the Game Boy allowed for full-on Metroid, Mario, Castlevania, and Pokemon games anytime you wanted them. The Game Boy Color took this a step further by adding, as its name implies, a splash of color to the worlds you were playing in. It was the Game Boy that kicked off Nintendo's place in the handheld world, and it's a place that they still have not lost. Number 2, the Nintendo DS. Jumping ahead in time, but staying on the same track, we have the Nintendo DS in the number 2 spot. Selling 154 million consoles, the Nintendo DS took everything that people loved about the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, put it on 2 screens, and brought back some of the best in the Nintendo arsenal. Once again, bringing in the fun and innovation that Nintendo has always been known for. The DS brought with it the world of touch, allowing you to use the second screen on the bottom of the console as a touchpad in order to interact with the games that you were playing in ways that were not before seen on a handheld console. It wasn't long after the console was launched that you would have a hard time getting your hands on it as demand grew higher and higher as the big names in Nintendo started marching their way onto the world of touch controls in mobile gaming. Finally, coming in as the #1 best-selling console of all time, with 155 million consoles sold, the front-runner of console sales, we have the PlayStation 2. So what made this one so special? The easy answer is everything. The PlayStation 2 in many ways has brought us to the consoles we have in the modern day. First off, it was backwards compatible with the PlayStation 1, which is something that is both in high demand if not expected today, although admittedly Microsoft is taking the lead on that front. It had the first iteration of the PlayStation Camera/Eye, which helped lead others to the Kinect and to the PlayStation Move controllers. It had one of the first iterations of online gaming for consoles, which is something that if you didn't get on a modern-day console, you would riot over. It was also an all-in-one home entertainment console, in that it could not only play games, but it could also play DVD movies and CDs. There was a proper remote that you could use in order to control it like a DVD player, and you got all of the fun things like alternate controllers in the form of microphones for all of you rock band fanatics out there. People saw and appreciated the variety and potential that was found in the PS2, and it shows both in the long history of the console and the amount that it sold and interactions that it went through. Did any of the consoles on the list surprise you? Any of them that you own and can add to one of the numbers sold? Any that you are surprised are not on the list? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.